about is you talking about Beyonce. I don't like when people talk about Beyonce. We're not gonna do that. You don't.
Ray J is finally calling out the Carters for allegedly using him as some kind of secret plaything. And baby, the story is wild. For years, people have been giving Ray J the side eye because he's always defended them, especially Beyonce. But now the whispers are getting louder, with rumors suggesting he and Beyonce might have shared more than just a friendship. Word on the street is that there are even private tapes floating around Hollywood, and TMZ is reportedly the top bidder trying to get their hands on them. If those tapes ever surface, it could shake the entire industry. But just when things couldn't get any messier, Rihanna's former publicist, Jonathan Hay, came through and dropped a bombshell, claiming that Jay-Z allegedly made Ray J get with Beyonce while Jay watched. And let's just say he was reportedly involved in a way that sounds disturbingly similar to what Diddy was accused of doing with Cassie.
Dare you disrespect Jay-Z and Beyonce? Jay-Z is an OG. Don't ever disrespect Beyonce, because now that you lying on me, and I know for sure that all that you're saying is a lie. Now you wanna go for Beyonce. Beyonce has never done nothing to nobody. I haven't seen Beyonce make one mistake. And you know what? That's somebody that's really trying to make sure that her image is in the forefront and be a role model for all these young girls and all the people that's inspiring to be like her or to follow down a path like that. That's a path you want to follow down. Why are you trying to fuck that up? Why are you lying on Jay-Z and Beyonce?
These insiders aren't scared anymore. They're spilling everything. And it's starting to look like the truth is much darker than anyone expected. Let's not forget, Ray J has always jumped to defend Jay-Z and Beyonce, especially back when Jaguar Wright went on Piers Morgan's show and accused the couple of being tied up in Diddy's shady business. She even claimed they were hiding dark secrets behind closed doors involving strange rituals. At the time, Ray J dismissed it all as nonsense. But now, with everything coming to light, it's starting to look like he might have been protecting something much bigger than we realized. Ray J didn't waste a second before clapping back at Jaguar Wright. Long before Jay-Z and Beyonce even threatened to sue her or Piers Morgan. He came out swinging like his life depended on it, defending them with everything he had. And let's be real, the last time Ray J went this hard for anyone, it was for Diddy. And we all remember how that turned out. The man has a history of defending powerful people he's connected to, and somehow it always seems to come with strings attached.
What I do know for a fact, not alleged, but DJ Khaled is bisexual. And Jay-Z has also participated in bisexual activities.
Would you want to say allegedly for your safety?
There's no, I would say allegedly if it was allegedly. DJ Khaled, 100% has been involved in, he's bisexual. I did a show called One Shot, and he was in Miami, and he was open with the guy that he was with. He was gay, and I don't understand what happens there where, because nobody said anything to me like, hey, make sure you don't, go out and say this on record. Make sure you don't say this, da-da-da-da. So it's weird that would still be hidden. That seems like that should be a fact that DJ Khaled, at least in 2016, was definitely bisexual.
Okay, and we're good.
And Jay-Z is without question bisexual.
Okay.
But not long after all that drama, Rihanna's former publicist, Jonathan Hay, stepped into the spotlight. And that's when the real tea started brewing. He sat down for an interview and began laying out some explosive details about why Ray J was riding so hard for Beyonce. See, Jonathan wasn't just anybody. This is the same man who, years ago, was behind those rumors that Jay-Z was secretly sleeping with Rihanna. He eventually walked those claims back, saying he'd made a mistake. But now he's flipping the whole story again. According to Jonathan, everything he said back then was true. And he only retracted it because Jay allegedly threatened him into silence. He claims Jay-Z used fear to keep the truth from coming out. But this time, Jonathan says he's done staying quiet. And the wildest part? He didn't stop there, not even close. He kept going, dropping even more shocking claims that left people speechless and wondering just how deep this rabbit hole really goes. Jonathan didn't just stick to business talk either. He went all in, accusing Jay-Z of living a double life and claiming he allegedly saw Jay getting intimate with a trans woman while still married to Beyonce. Yep. According to Jonathan, this all happened while their marriage still looked picture perfect to the public.
Did you personally see Jay-Z with transgender women? You personally?
I have, correct. It was during it was during the tour. It was during the tour with the Mill, DMX, Jay-Z.
The Hard Knock Life.
No.
Or maybe a different one.
Yeah, they had the documentary for it. What was that called? I'll think of it. I'll think of it here in a little bit.
Yeah, it was a documentary, backstage or the
backstage with the Mill and all that. I used to work with her, and I definitely. It was unmistakable. You know, in 2024, the trans women are. You know, it can be hard. You know, like a lot of people that they don't know, but back then it wasn't as advanced, and you could clearly tell. You know that was a guy.
But things didn't stop there. This story takes a turn so wild it could flip the entire industry upside down. Jonathan went on to claim that Jay-Z wasn't just keeping secrets. He was allegedly hosting private freak-off sessions, similar to what people have said Diddy used to do with Cassie. But here's the twist. Instead of bringing in random male escorts, Jay was allegedly making men in the industry get intimate with Beyoncé herself. And the name that keeps coming up again and again? Ray J. Jonathan claimed that on one particular night, Jay-Z allegedly sat back and watched as Ray J got with Beyoncé, while he, handled himself on the side.
He is a cuckold, right? He likes to watch Beyoncé with other men. Ray J, from what I heard, even before all this happened, was one of the guys that used to smash Beyoncé while Jay-Z would watch.
It all sounds unbelievable. And since Jonathan hasn't shown any solid proof, we can't take his claims as fact. Still, that hasn't stopped the internet from completely losing its art. Mind, people are now starting to believe this might explain why Ray J was always so protective of Beyoncé, defending her at every turn like his reputation depended on it. To outsiders, it never made sense why he was riding so hard for her. But now, some think this might be the missing puzzle piece. And just when you thought Jonathan was finished, he dropped another bombshell. Remember when he once claimed that Jay-Z had been inappropriate with Rihanna when she was younger?
And tell them who it is. I wish we still trying to find out who was in this Pimp C tape.
All I can tell you, there was a famous R&B chick, and it was a guy that was getting money at the time. And, Pimp, he used to be in the studio. And every now and then he'd have a camcorder, so he was able to get some footage. And he wanted to do something with the footage, but I don't know why he didn't do nothing with it, but if I could have got a hold of that tape, I'd be a billionaire, man. Whoever it was, they had to kill me, man. I know TMZ would have paid a bank for that one, man. But yeah, it is a tape, and if you read the comments, a lot of people figured out. Okay. A lot of people figured out because, people that was in Houston at the time, they know who was a little loose, as a Montana goose. You know what I'm saying? So, they also know who was having money at the time. So it's not really hard to figure out. But,
just tell us. Just say the name.
But no, the only reason why I won't tell it because Pimp C is not here. So therefore, I'm respecting his wishes. If he wanted to get out, maybe he would have put it out. Maybe he might have had to deal with the situation. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Jonathan now claims that after he leaked that story, federal investigators actually reached out to him for help with their case against Jay-Z. He says they believed Jay had allegedly flown Rihanna into the US from overseas for personal reasons, and that she wasn't the only one. According to Jonathan, agents told him there were multiple young women involved, and they were investigating whether this pattern crossed into serious criminal territory. The claims are shocking, messy, and still unconfirmed. But one thing's for sure. The walls are closing in, and people are starting to talk louder than ever. These accusations aren't small. They're serious enough to shake the entire industry. What's making everyone talk even more is that Jonathan isn't even using the word allegedly anymore. He's speaking like a man who's got real proof tucked away, and that confidence has people convinced he's sitting on solid receipts. Now, the internet is buzzing, wondering if he's about to drop something that could change everything. But here's where things take an even darker turn.
To go meet with Dame Dash. So we go after I leave Jive, I go to Rock to the Rock. As soon as I sit down there, Dame Dash opened up his checkbook, cut a check for $1 million. I'm like, whoa. He like, I was like, is this for sure? He was like, no. He said, we want to UGK. I was like, what? He's like, we want to with your boys.
That's right.
So I immediately picked up the phone and called Pimp C. Because all I was trying to get was 100,000. When Dame cut that $1 million, I called Pimp on the phone like, yo, Pimp. And him and Jamal was in the house. And I could hear a tussle or some type of confrontation, right? And I'm like, calm down, bro. Y'all calm down, Pimp.
I ran up the cable bill.
They was fighting. Okay, they was fighting like hard. And I'm like, Pimp, stop whatever you doing right now. I told you what's going down with Jamal when you moved him up in there. I said, but right now, I got $1 million check for you. All we want was 100,000. I was just like, who is that with? I said, with Rockefeller. He was like, what? I was like, yeah. He was like, I'm watching Dan with the checkbook, he writing it out. He was like, ain't that with, over there with Jay-Z? I was like, yeah. He was like, man, tell them to take that check and go give it to Tupac Mama, man.
There have been whispers for years that Beyoncé might not have always been loyal behind the scenes, even though she's only ever shown the world her and Jay-Z's picture-perfect marriage rumors have long suggested she had something going on with the late Pimp C, and people still talk about how that connection might have played a role in what happened to him. Word is there was even a private tape of the two, but before it could ever leak, Jay supposedly made sure it never saw the light of day. And according to the streets, it didn't stop there. The way Jay-Z allegedly handled that situation was described as symbolic, even sinister. Like it wasn't just about silencing someone, it was about sending a message. If there's any truth to these stories, then this whole situation is way deeper than anyone thought. It's got people side-eyeing everything they ever believed about the Carters' clean image. According to DJ Paul from 3 6 Mafia, the circumstances surrounding Pimp C's passing were straight up unsettling. Pimp's manager allegedly said his body was found in a praying position, blood everywhere, like he had been hit in the head before it all ended.
I DJ'd for Mos Def, and we went over to London for some shows, and Destiny's Child was performing there. And I don't know if you know this, and don't tell anybody if you don't, but Mos Def kind of used to mess with Beyonce.
That detail alone sent chills down the spines of everyone who heard it, because it didn't sound like a peaceful scene at all. But what makes it even more suspicious is the history between Pimp C and Jay-Z. There had already been bad blood brewing between them long before any of this happened. Record executive Greg Taylor even revealed that right after the deal was made for Jay-Z and UGK to collaborate on Big Pimpin', tensions started rising.
And she was trained at the esteemed Berklee College of Music. Handpicked by my very good friend, Terry Lynn Carrington, Dr. Terry Lynn Carrington, who put together Beyonce's entire female band, which was Matthew Knowles' idea because he couldn't get Beyonce to stop people. Guess you didn't know your daughter well enough because she just started all the girls. Impulse control issue.
He called Pimp to share the news, but the call was on speaker and Pimp had no idea. He started going off, dissing Jay-Z right then and there. It was raw, unfiltered, and showed just how tense things were behind the scenes. But that's just one layer of this wild story. Whispers have also circulated for years about Beyoncé and Mos Def possibly being more than just co-workers. Neither of them ever confirmed anything, but back in the day, people in the industry swore there was chemistry that went way beyond the studio. They claimed the two shared moments that had everyone around them raising their eyebrows. And to top it off, DJ Siffa Sounds once shared a story about the time he spent an entire weekend with Destiny's Child. The way he described the atmosphere had fans convinced there was a lot more going on behind those glamorous smiles than anyone realized. According to Sypha, while he was hanging out and cracking jokes with Destiny's Child, he couldn't help but notice something off. Beyoncé and Mos Def were way too close. The kind of close that made everyone in the room do a double take. It wasn't the typical we just work together vibe. It was giving something deeper. Something they clearly didn't want the cameras to see. And just when people thought things couldn't get any messier, another old rumor started spinning back into the spotlight. Talk about Beyoncé secretly being into women behind the scenes. The internet's been buzzing about that one for years, but what came next took things to a whole new level. Attorney Ariel Mitchell Kidd dropped a shocking revelation during an interview. She said she was recently contacted by a potential client who wanted her to represent them in the sale of a private freak-off tape involving Diddy and a major celebrity.
I also was just recently contacted by someone who wanted me to essentially represent them in the sale of one of the Diddy tapes. So, which I declined that because...
Wait a minute, say that again. Say that again, back up. You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there have been people already shopping.
We've heard about the tapes, but
yes.
The shopping thing is
yes, there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood. But one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of and to contact the person who was in the video to see if they were interested in purchasing the video before it became a public knowledge.
I've heard this before, so like a catch and kill?
Catch and kill, correct.
Wow, can you, and I guess you can't reveal the person who is on
No,
this
I can't
tape.
explain who the person was, but Mr.
High profile?
Mr. Combs was in the tape, and this other person is, I would venture to say, more high profile than Mr. Combs.
Really? Really? And you've seen it?
I've seen stills of the video.
Okay.
So
you can verify
that it exists, that it's real, that the other person in the video is very visible. It's no question if it's that person in the video, and I can tell the video was pornographic in nature.
Ariel made it clear that the other person in the footage was actually more famous than Diddy, and that they didn't even know they were being filmed. That single statement sent the internet into a frenzy. Fans immediately started speculating that the unnamed celebrity might be Beyoncé. And honestly, many thought the clues added up. First, there aren't many stars on Diddy's level, and Beyoncé is one of the few who fits that description. Second, if those old rumors about her and Pimp C having a private tape were even halfway true, then this wouldn't sound too far-fetched. To make matters worse, people began revisiting an old interview with DaBaby, where he casually mentioned being invited to a private meeting at Diddy's house, with none other than Beyoncé and Jay-Z in the room. That story alone reignited all kinds of theories, making people wonder what really goes down behind those luxury mansion doors when the cameras aren't around.
Beyoncé, I was at a party at Diddy crib in LA. This was the beginning of 2020. You know what I mean? Diddy had put everybody else out the crib, like the influx of people he had put them out. But he had took a liking to me in particular around the time, man. It was really, you know what I mean, like putting his arm around me.
Right.
So he had put majority of the people out, but he allowed me to stay in there. Mm-hmm. Me and, you know, maybe about 15 others, you know. Right. Jay-Z and Beyonce being, you know, two of the other 15 people in the room. So that'll just put into perspective of the type of company I was in at the moment, you know. And she came over and introduced herself to me like as if she had to. Beyonce, cut it out. But I'm a big fan of your work, you know what I'm saying? Whoop the whoop, and that was just dope. That was dope as hell to me, man. That was.
With everything that's come out, people are starting to think the allegations involving Ray J and Beyoncé might actually hold some truth. And the internet is going absolutely wild. Comment sections are on fire, with fans throwing shots left and right. One person wrote, "Jay-Z bought Beyoncé decades ago from her daddy. He's her handler. People are just slow." Another chimed in, "The last time I heard about a Beyoncé tape was when Pimp C mentioned it. And next thing you know, that man was gone. The drama is reaching new heights." And people aren't holding back. So now the big question is, do you believe it? Do you think Jay-Z really made Beyoncé be with Ray J? And if so, how long do you think it went on? Because the internet sure has its theories, and every day something new comes out that makes it harder to ignore. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you believe Ray J's side of the story? Or do you think this is just another wild Hollywood rumor that's gotten out of control? Comment your thoughts, share this video with your friends, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Because trust me, you don't want to miss the next messy update that's about to drop.